Welcome back to Property Playbook. We're your hosts, Elena Saradidis
and Erica Reddy-Choquette.
And today we're going to talk to you about all things condo market because things are going up and down and we might as well break it all down for you.
Absolutely. It has shifted. The condo market is a totally different playing field, in my opinion.
Well, what I'm noticing is a lot more price adjustments, a lot more cancel relists, and a lot more days on market.
Absolutely. I mean, I think one thing that is super prevalent is there is a ton of inventory in the condo sector. And so you really have to be on point with your price to be the one that moves. And frankly, I've felt, even with some of the listings I've come out with, that we've been on point and we haven't been. And it's hard. It's really hard to navigate.
Well, look, like we're not fortune tellers. That's the thing that everyone needs to know.
Yeah.
We can look at the past data. We can analyze it. We can tell you what it should be worth. But this is the thing. The numbers tell us one thing, but the market tells you something else. Mm-hmm. Like a property is only worth what a buyer is willing to pay. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing that I think consumers need to remember is if a buyer's not giving you that number, that means at this point in time, it's not worth that number.
Absolutely. But I mean, I've even got some listings, full transparency, that we're sitting with 0 showings. We've done everything. We've staged it. We've priced it. We've, done all the campaigns. We've done all the marketing. We've tracked all the numbers. We've seen, 42 people have favorited. X number of people have mapped the directions. X number of people have sent to a friend, to a this, to a that. And we're still at 0 showings. And we've even then done a price reduction of another, $50,000 to think, okay, well, that's going to bring somebody in. Still at 0 showings.
Yeah. And I think it has a huge thing to do with buyers don't know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. So when there's a lineup, they're ready to go and they're ready to buy property. And when there's no lineup, and right now I don't think there's a lineup on condos. No. There's no lineup.
No.
When there's no lineup, everyone's like, wait, what's going to happen? And should I keep waiting? And the problem with keep waiting is eventually you hit a point where you've waited so long that the market shifts again.
Yeah.
And we're now in a seller's market once again.
Yeah.
So I think there's opportunity in this market. And if you are looking to buy, it's a great time to be buying. Mm-hmm. And then if you're selling and you're selling a condo right now, I think you really need to think about why you're selling.
Yeah.
Like that's always the key word, no matter what market we're in. Why are you trying to sell? And if the answer is like, I need to sell this to do X, Y, Z, then sell. But if you don't need to sell, why are we selling?
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. And I mean, I think at the end of the day, the big thing is, patience. I think to your point with buyers, especially, I've got on a couple of my condo listings right now, buyers have been back 4 to 6 times. And, the agent is now just prepping paperwork. She had the paperwork prepped 3 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And she literally said, okay, I've got an offer coming for you. And I was like, okay, great. And then another week, she's like, you're going to think I'm the biggest flake. We're going to go back again and we're going to go look at a couple others. And then, I've got the paperwork prepped, spoke to her again. And this is 3 weeks of dialogue. I mean, she said it's being signed and I believe her, but this is just the pace that people are moving at because there isn't the sense of urgency. There isn't the need to move with urgency. And so, I mean, listen, we're all human. Are you going to move quickly on something that you don't feel you have to move quickly on?
But what they need to remember is this: 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, people are still going in and seeing it. And the moment one person comes in, now you're going to pay a different price. And that's what they don't realize. They're like, okay, you know what? I don't want to say lowball them, but we'll bring them something a little bit below market value or below their list price. And then all of a sudden there's a second offer in play. You're not paying that number anymore. Mm-hmm. So sometimes it's the first person that comes in that you end up getting a better deal because of it, because you didn't have to compete. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, definitely. You make a great point because there are situations where 30, 45 days on market, someone finally decides to make their mind up. And then the other person that was sitting in the sidelines that was equally as indecisive all of a sudden becomes decisive because, oh, well, there's somebody else at play.
And they don't want to lose it because it's a good property.
Yeah.
And like to your point, like you have to do everything right when you're listing these homes, these condos. You have to do it all. So staging, marketing it, making sure it looks perfect. Because again, if there's so much competition, you need to look like the diamond in like the sea of all the other condos that are available. Yours needs to be the best one.
Yeah.
So like I recently listed a property in Mississauga. It's a condo. And I did something that I hate when I do it. I listed it at $399. It was a 1-bedroom condo with parking and a locker. There's 5 other units that are 1 bedrooms in that building. None of them moved. They're all listed between $530 and $545. Mm-hmm. Now, you don't have to be a scientist or a real estate mogul to understand if they're not moving at that price, then something needs to change. We renovated our property lightly. We staged it. We made it look fantastic. And I did the $399 special.
Yeah.
Oh, people got upset. People got so upset. People were actually telling my agents, like, you guys are liars. Like, how dare you do this? But guess what happened? Offer night came. I got 5 offers. Mine's the only one that's sold.
Yeah.
It's now been, 2 or 3 weeks since that sale. The other 5 are still in the market.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you? Like,
Mix it up.
you have to sometimes. I'm not telling everyone go list at 399. Like, don't do that. But it was the strategy that we chose to use on this specific property because of what was happening in the building and in the area.
Yeah.
There was too much and we needed to stand out. And 499 doesn't stand out.
No.
520 doesn't stand out.
No, 399, no one even believes there's such a thing that you could buy for 399.
They didn't.
Yeah.
They came in, they were guns blazing, but guess what? It worked.
Yeah.
It worked.
No.
399 got me to where I needed to go.
Yeah.
The client's happy, the property sold, and we sold for a really good number. We actually sold for more than what the last one sold for price per square foot. So like, we did everything we needed to do, but we also got the most amount of people in there.
Yeah.
And there was a period in time, even with a 399, and like, you know, we're open and honest here. We're here.
100%.
Everyone's going to learn. There was a period in time in the first couple of days that I was like, I'm not getting enough showings and I'm at 399. I'm scared for the condo market.
Yeah.
Like, that's not like putting something out at 399, you know, you're going to get a rampage. And I wasn't getting rammed in the first couple of days.
Yeah.
Like, it took a little bit of time. So I left it actually in the market longer than the 7 days. I did 14 days with an offer night.
Interesting. Wow. Yeah.
I know.
But again, I think this goes back to, you have to move with the market. Like, the market is in a different place.
They were slower. They came back multiple times. I'm like, guys, offer night, 399, no brainer. Put a number on paper, make sure that it's as clean as possible, and let's get a deal done. Like, we're ready.
Yeah.
Like, bring us a number. But they did come in multiple times. I did 14 days with an offer night, which is not
That's
usual.
not typical, because typical is 7 max. Like, you'd go 5 to 7 days. 14 is a really long window.
And I had people be like, would you take a preemptive? And I was like, absolutely not. And for this specific property, like I said, there were so many available in the building. None of them moved in the span of that 14 days. None of them still moved. Like, nothing has moved. So what do you do?
Yeah.
Like, it was my only option.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think
We had
the
to
big
do
thing
something
is
a little different.
you are probably doing one of two. You're either doing something radically different to shake it up to make sure that you get sold, or you're just having the understanding that it takes patience, that the reset in the condo market right now is 30, 60, maybe even 90 days. You know, and in talking to stagers, because obviously we've got lots of stagers involved in all of our properties, you know, a lot of the stagers are saying, wow, this is the first time people are renewing. Like, this is a changing landscape. This is a new scene. And I'm like, yeah, well, we need to figure this out, because we can't be renewing for 3 months at the cost of renewals. But again, you're just seeing this shift across the board with everybody, and everybody's trying to find their footing in that shift right now.
Yeah, it's a difficult market. And I think buyers and sellers get really anxious when they see days on market.
Yeah.
I think when sellers don't see action, they're like, oh my God, like, something's wrong. You're not doing everything humanly possible. Like, what's happening? Why is it not this way?
Yeah.
So as an agent, on the agent side, you need to be able to show you're doing everything humanly possible for the property, which, like, I'm very, very lucky. I have amazing clients that can see it.
Yes.
They're like, oh, you're actually doing stuff. I'm
Yeah,
like, yes,
here's
I
what's
am.
done every 7 days.
Like,
a lot. But yeah,
yeah.
you can sit on the backside going, okay, I'm only seeing a couple showings. What are you really doing? But actually a lot to get those couple of showings right now.
Like we need to do things to get
Yeah.
people to actually open up the door and go inside. It's not as simple as putting it up for sale and like letting it sit there. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
And it heavily leans on connections you have with other agents, because there is a difference when an agent that you know calls you and says, hey, listen, like, I have this property in the market. Who do you have? Do you have anyone that would be interested in this? This actually happened to me a couple of days ago. Actually yesterday, an agent called me and was like, oh, I saw you were interested in this property. And I go, look, I have a lot of buyers in this price point right now. Like, somehow a lot of buyers in this price point. And he goes, well, why don't you show them this one? And I go, because I saw it before your reno. Did you actually renovate it?
Yeah.
Like, what did you do? Like, explain it to me. And I go, would you take this number? And he goes, Elena, go in and see it. Now, because of that relationship, I know he's going to take a number that my clients would be interested in. He's not listed at that number.
Yeah.
So like, whoever you're working with, this is like the theme of every single episode, matters.
Yeah.
Because that's the difference between you getting the property and you not getting the property, is the person in between that's advocating for yourself.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. And listen, I think flipping back to the condo market, I think when it comes to a buyer, I think it's really important. This goes back, and I know we've talked about, you know, buyer mentality and headspace, but I think it really is getting yourself in the right headspace and understanding why you're buying and not being scared and breaking down the statistics and breaking down the numbers to go, okay, yeah, there's actually opportunity to be ahead in the condo market right now. Not be fearful of the fact that things aren't selling.
And I would also say, like, look up what they were selling at their peak. because we're gonna go back.
Yeah.
It's a matter of time. It's gonna go back. And like your profits, no matter what type of property you're purchasing, whatever profit you're looking to make is made in the buy. If you buy it for a good number, you're guaranteed profit.
Yeah.
If you overpaid, you're waiting.
Yeah.
So like this is the market that there's opportunity. And the other thing that we didn't even touch on is interest rates.
Yes.
So there is another interest rate announcement coming up. And what people are waiting for is the interest rates to come down.
Yeah.
When the interest rates come down, what's going to end up happening?
You're going to start to see the floodgates open, or at least that's what everybody's anticipating.
Okay, so if the floodgates open and there's more people shopping now, what's going to happen to price?
All of a sudden, you see more competition.
Prices go up.
Yeah.
But right now, you pay 20% or whatever your down payment is on a lower purchase price. So if you don't have as much saved, you can actually get in.
Yeah.
If you know, there's other factors associated to it as well. But when the floodgates open, and allegedly the prices will go up based on the interest rates coming down, what will happen? You have to pay more down. Yes, your carrying cost is different, but you have to pay more down.
But the other thing is, listen, if you've built in potentially whatever that profit margin could be, let's say it goes up 25,000 or 50,000 or something like that. Okay, so you've bought in at a slightly higher interest rate, but you've already got, you know, potentially value in your pocket.
100%.
Yeah.
And then you just refinance it at the lower interest rate, pull out the cash. Because that's what I would have done. I would have.
I know.
Why would I spend more on the property when I don't have to?
Yeah.
And like, it does come down to that.
Yeah.
Buyers have the power right now in the condo market.
Yeah.
So if you are looking to buy a condo, this is the time that you should actually be outside looking at condos.
Big time.
Before there's a lineup for them, because the moment the lineup happens, the market shifted.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't think there's anything more to say other than sellers strap on. There's definitely some time you've got to be prepared to have under your wing when you're on the market, and buyers, now's your opportunity.
Yeah. And the only other thing I would say is if you're a buyer and you're noticing a property sit a long time on the market, don't be scared by it. It is the market.
Yeah.
And if you're a seller, don't be scared of the cancel relist. Any agent that has been in the market, that understands the market, understands this is what's happening right now. Cancel relists are happening. Price adjustments are happening. And it doesn't mean something's wrong with the property. It means we're shifting with the time. The market is telling us to make a shift.
And I think probably one tip on that is if you are searching, make sure that you've got all your search parameters open, because if you're only looking cancel relist versus price change, you could miss somebody that's price change versus cancel relisted, because some agents will opt to price change so that you can see that kind of dramatic shift from the original price to the new price, and others will just cancel relist so you reset the days on market. I'd say there's probably equal strategies behind both depending on what the property is and how you want to go about it. But if you're a buyer out there, you want to make sure that you've got all your parameters with your agent on your prospect matches and such set that you're getting those price changes too.
Well, thank you so much for listening to Property Playbook. We're your hosts,
Reddy-Choquette
and Elena Saradidis. And if you like content like this, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe.